Musk actually did go through with his acquisition of Twitter, the social media company. And one of the first things he did was sack the top team, including the head of censorship over there. And it's sort of fun to watch the owner of Twitter, because he bought it outright. It's not a public company anymore. The sole director, I think, is Elon Musk himself. And he's promising to have more diversity of views, which is the worst thing you could tell a leftist. They believe in diversity of every kind, except of views. Elon Musk says he wants to have right and left represented, for example. Well, the left doesn't believe in that. There's one thing that he's announced already, which I just get a real kick out of. I'm not sure if you're on Twitter. There are hundreds of millions of people on Twitter. And like other social media, like YouTube and Facebook, you can get a little blue check mark that verifies you are who you are. It's useful, for example, if you're a big sports celebrity or a big politician, and someone else might have a fake account that is a fan account or a critical account or a parody account that's very similar to your own. I mean, Donald Trump's Twitter handle was real Donald Trump. I presume that means someone else already took Donald Trump. And how did you know it was the real president? Well, he had that little blue check mark. So the blue check mark was a way of verifying you are who you said you are. But you couldn't just ask to be verified. It was like a secret fraternity. You had to be invited. Or sometimes it just happened and you didn't know why. It was an insiders club, a kind of aristocracy, not a meritocracy. And it was sort of a pedigree, like, I don't know, going to an Ivy League university instead of just a community college. And one of the things that Elon Musk has announced is that he will let anyone verify their account for $8 a month. He originally was thinking about $20 a month. Now, you should think, well, that's a good idea. Everyone should be able to verify that it's them. On many apps, we have to verify it's you. When you set up a banking app on your cell phone, you have to verify that it's you with a password. Certain apps, you have to show a picture of your passport or other ID. So the idea that you identify who you are on Twitter and have the ability to buy that, it seems sort of obvious, especially when one of the criticisms of social media is there's a lot of fake accounts and bots or robots. No robot is going to spend $8 a month and have their account verified. But the thing is, it doesn't just mean a source of revenue for Twitter. I mean, imagine if 100 million people decided to get verified. I don't think that many will. Let's say 10 million people get verified. Every month, that's $8 times 10 million people. That's almost $1 billion a year when you think about it, right? $1 billion in revenue just from letting people verify themselves. It's a great business idea for Twitter, but it's also useful for individuals to say, yes, this really is me. And I think it could improve the Twitter experience in that you would know someone was real and not just some robot. But the reaction to this has been gorgeous. Here's a tweet by Stephen King, the horror author, who is outraged that he would have to pay anything for the privilege of reading his tweets. He says he should get paid. No, he's not mad that he'll have to pay $8. The guy's a gazillionaire. He's mad that the lowly peasants can get the same status as he has. He wants to be special, and that's what he thinks the blue verified checkmark is about. He doesn't want just the hoi polloi to have it. You've probably heard of Stephen King. He's one of the best-selling horror fiction novelists of the generation. But Rachel Gilmore, you probably haven't heard of her. She's the TikTok queen of global news, which is pretty low on the totem pole, but she has that blue verified check mark. And she, for the same reasons as Stephen King, is appalled that mere peasants will be able to buy her verified status. She is quite a piece of work. She tweets how proud she is of her, I don't know, third, fourth, fifth jab. She actually made this little video about why you should not allow unvaccinated people over to your family Christmas dinner. I don't know if you ever saw this. Take a look.
Are you going to invite your unvaccinated relatives to sit at the dinner table with you this Thanksgiving? Experts are saying you might not want to risk it. Here's why. According to one expert from McMaster University, vaccines are super effective, but they're most effective when you're surrounded by other vaccinated people. If you invite someone who isn't vaccinated, there's a risk of having a breakthrough case. Now, breakthrough cases are pretty rare. There's only ever been about 8,000 in Ontario, but kids can't get vaccinated yet. So part of keeping those kids as safe as possible is telling that one uncle who chooses not to get vaccinated that he might have to sit this one out. One bioethicist said that that's actually the more ethical thing to do. She also said you should try talking to your relatives about how safe vaccination is. The best way to do that is to start the conversation from a place of respect and empathy. Say things like, I understand you're feeling pressure. I know you're freaked out, but here's why this is important. You can read more at globalnews.ca.
So she is part of the chosen, the elite. And this tweet here just got me laughing. No, we can't let anyone think they're like me or you, she says to her fancy people. I love it that the peasants are going to be allowed to get verified. Now, I read a report that General Motors is questioning whether it wants to even advertise anymore on Twitter. Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure if that report's even accurate. But then again, when you remember that Elon Musk is also the CEO of Tesla, which has a larger market capitalization than General Motors and is generally eating their lunch when it comes to electric cars, maybe that's on their mind as well. Elon Musk took over the company and he has publicly mused about slashing the workforce by as much as 3/4. There's an implication there that a lot of people at Twitter are not actually engineers doing anything useful, but they're rather woke bureaucrats who are busy banning people. I think I love the idea that Elon Musk thinks the people there are surplus. And one of the things that he's done is he's frozen the dashboard by which bureaucrats are able to censor people. He's put that on pause until the U.S. election is over. I like that a lot. Now, I don't know if you've heard about TikTok, which is a younger demographic. It's a very video-based social media app. I think the average age of a TikTok user is probably under 20. It is owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, and it is very clear that TikTok is an asset of the People's Liberation Army, of the Chinese security services. They say as much in their ownership and the laws of China and their privacy statements. TikTok tracks where you are. It tracks your gestures, how you look at it. It tracks your list of friends. It tracks everything about you. And as all Chinese internet companies have to do, it allows the state security services unfettered, continuous access to all its data. So TikTok knows everything about its users. And for that reason, some in America have called for TikTok to be banned. I think it's safe to say that if TikTok is an asset of the Chinese deep state, Twitter is an asset of the CIA and the FBI. I don't think that that's a shocking thing to say. In fact, if you look at the old board of directors of Twitter, and I did this a few months ago, many of them are from the foreign policy deep state establishment. It's really weird to see all these CIA and State Department types on the board of a tech company. They don't know anything about tech. They don't know anything about computer science and engineering. They don't know anything about marketing, but that's not the value of Twitter. The value of Twitter is who is on it and what they say and what they do and what they say in their private messages. Again, if you're not a Twitter user, you might not know this. But one of the ways to talk to other Twitter users is with a direct message. It's like a private communication with someone else. But the terms of service on Twitter say everything you type is the property of Twitter. They own it. So if you're a politician, if you're a lawyer, if you're an activist, talking to anyone else on Twitter, that private communication is owned by Twitter. You can see why the CIA and the FBI would find that very valuable. Imagine all the data. Imagine all the private messages amongst world leaders in any language. It's why there have been reports over the years of, for example, Saudi nationals spying on Twitter users for their own government, including on dissidents. What you just saw was an excerpt from my nightly show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every weekday, I do a monologue. Usually it's about half an hour. Then I interview an interesting guest, and then we read my hate mail or my fan mail, whichever is more fun. It's only available behind a paywall, though. That's how we pay our bills here at Rebel News. We don't take a dime from Justin Trudeau. But the good news is it's only $8 a month, about half the price of Netflix. And in addition to my nightly show, you also get weekly shows from 4 other friends here at Rebel News. So you're getting 36 shows a month just for $8. I think it's worth it. And even if you're not quite sure, do it anyways, because We rely on viewers like you to keep us free and independent. I promise you I'll never take a dime from Trudeau. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com and click subscribe. Thanks.